All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Final Play. I'm your host, Harrison, and today we got a new guy with us. This is my boy, Mason.
What's up, guys?
Me and Mason. Today, I know, guys, we typically do cowboy content, but today, as most of you who know me, I'm a really big TCU fan, and right now, history is being made, and I just want to go over what's going on right now with the college football playoffs and the national championship game on Monday night. But before we even get into any of that, Monday for the sports world, it was tough. Damar Hamlin went down, and that was really something tough to watch happen. And I think obviously the power of prayer was really with him and his family all throughout the week. He's made tremendous recovery. And I mean, he got to FaceTime the team. What was it, yesterday? He FaceTimed the team yesterday. And then he's gotten to talk to a couple of guys, Miles Sanders. And I'm really happy that, he's made this recovery because that
shit was crazy. It was scary to watch.
It was scary to watch.
Did you watch it live?
Yeah, it was scary, man.
Yeah,
I didn't. When I saw him go down, I was like, at first, like everybody else, thought it was a concussion thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a Tua repeat. When Tua stumbled down, I was like, oh shit. I was like, there we go, concussion protocol. I was like, what the fuck? And the next thing you know, bro just goes limp. It
was really scary to watch. I'm glad he's recovering. And dude, that was really scary to watch. Now, something that I will add onto this subject of Damar Hamlin, mainly with what was said Tuesday on Speak and Bart Scott blaming T. Higgins. I don't think you can blame.
Now that shit is wild. So
you cannot blame anybody because here's my thing. Damar Hamlin, he plays defense. His job is to stop the player on offense with the ball. T. Higgins is an offense. He's a wide receiver. His job is to get past that defender any way possible. This is the definition of a freak accident. It was a routine tackle that Damar made, but I can't get on board with everybody saying. I think the people that are going after
the death threats, the over the phone threats, the social media threats, all towards T. Higgins. I mean, it's not needed.
I don't think it is either.
It's a routine football play, and I don't understand why people are even trying to bash T in the first place. It doesn't make sense, and I don't know. I want to know where his head's at mentally. To be caught up in that, regardless if it was intentional or not, which we all know it wasn't. It's a huge freak accident.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your head? Do you know what I mean? You have to have grief on your shoulders. Like, fuck, did I just do that to this guy?
Oh, definitely. But also, I don't know if you saw, but like they've talked to T ever since he's been back at practice because he stayed at the hospital. He stayed at the hospital with him, with Damar, and like made sure like he was okay. And I think like a big thing was like and a lot of people didn't talk about it, and I think Josh Allen, quarterback for the Bills, he actually did come out and said, hey, listen, I don't know if anybody else has said it. He knew that Damar's family came out and said something, but Josh Allen, he also reiterated the fact that everybody needs to back up off of T.
Yeah.
Like, it's a freak accident. Like, nobody could have predicted that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, people really need to back up off of T. Higgins. I think Bart Scott needs to issue an apology. And I know there's another old man that everybody knows where this is heading. He needs to issue an apology too. Skip Bayless owes Damar Hamlin an apology because this is what I got to say about Skip Bayless's tweet. He's asking a good question. He is. He's asking a good question.
It's a great question, but it's insensitive.
At the time, it's insensitive. He shows no intent to acknowledge the young man that is in a life or death situation, has no regard for it, and just is immediately into the legitimacy behind the AFC seedings, and I can't. If you guys follow me on Twitter at TFP Harrison, I unloaded. I thought it was really bad. And
Well, I mean, I think it was just an incredibly poor take, in my opinion. Yes, he was asking a great question, but when that situation happened and Damar Hamlin was down, and this tweet came out after CPR was done, after he was taken off in an ambulance to the hospital, he's still, and this is what rubbed me wrong about the entire tweet, is how he said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. But how? I get it. AFC, they still don't have a determined 1, 2, and 3. It could have gone either way. And we were talking about that earlier off camera. But he follows it with, this late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Well, no fucking shit, Skip. I mean, a guy is fighting for his life. They had to do CPR on him for 15 minutes.
They had to use the AED. They had to do
AED, everything.
They did everything in their power.
He was
to bring
dead.
Him back
he was
to life.
dead on that field. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a season outcome is irrelevant at that point.
Yes, it is. It's
so, like I said, his first question, how does this affect the season outcome? Yeah, I get that. That's a great question, but it's insensitive as fuck. There's no business.
He's rushing a question that can be answered down the road. In that moment, and this is where I agree with Shannon Sharp. What he did to pull what Shannon said on Undisputed, saying, okay, listen, the focus should have been on the young man's life and not on the game. 100%.
Exactly.
I think, and here's my thing now, is in Skip's tweet, he shows no signs of acknowledging Damar's life and where he's at. That's where I got rubbed. I'm like, you need to acknowledge the fact that there's a 24-year-old.
24, who just had a cardiac arrest.
Which obviously nobody knew that until later on throughout the night. But the problem is the game no longer matters at that point. At that point, it becomes a matter of this young man's life and what steps need to be taken in order to help him come back to life. And I can tell you right now, the Bills trainer,
kudos
to him, dude.
I don't even think kudos is the word. That's a fucking hero on the field.
He's a hero.
But my thing is when Skip sent out that tweet, right, and he got hella backlash. Yeah. I was included. I conned it twice. That shit was wild.
I got him. I know you got him. Des Bryant, big.
Darius Slay.
Yeah. Mike Fisher, main reporter for the Dallas Cowboys. He got a hold of him.
But the thing is he then follows up with another tweet, and he still won't admit that he was in the wrong.
No, and
then that's wild to me. I mean, you sat here and said that the game of football and the season outcome of the 2022-23 season is more important than a 24-year-old's life. That's crazy.
For somebody that has dedicated his life to playing that sport.
Maybe don't ask the fucking question. Don't ask the question.
I'm okay with that. Okay, here's the thing. I'm okay with asking the question.
Why the season, he's asking the question, how is that season going to be affected now? We shouldn't be asking a question like that right now. Again, it's irrelevant. Why the fuck is a 24-year-old who has no past medical conditions? His high school football coach said it. College. Once you enter college and you are proven that you can make it to the NFL, they have every medical note.
Yeah, they have every single
all about you. There is no medical record that he had anything that could even relate up to a cardiac arrest. So a 24-year-old who is just playing the game that he loves had a cardiac episode,
went into cardiac arrest, and I think Skip needs to come out and admit that he was wrong. But obviously, he's 800 years old. He's not gonna change his ways.
He's more worried about repping Jordans than apologizing per his latest tweet today. So
Now, one question about Damar Hamlin is, do you think he'll play ever again?
I think Damar will play again. I think obviously right now, I mean, Buffalo put him on the IR yesterday, and obviously tests are still going to get run. Like he's probably going to go through a couple more months worth of these tests to figure out what has happened, because everything right now on what actually caused him to go into cardiac arrest is just speculation. So right now, I think is a good time for doctors to do their testing, get him through everything, and then I mean, this is something like serious. I think things could come out saying like they could find an explanation for it. They could not find an explanation for it. But I think he will play again. It's just a matter of what explanation they end up getting on what caused him to go into cardiac arrest. I hope he plays again.
I mean, it would be a miracle because
the question is, his health could line out, right? He could be in tip top shape, right? The question is you as a player, right? Are you willing to put your life at risk again?
When you almost die.
No, he did die.
That's what I'm saying, but completely die. On the field.
Here's my thing: is I think I guys, I'll tell you what, I see him playing again. I think I do, because
I mean, every football player, they have the same model. They're willing to give their blood, sweat, and tears for that game of football. But when you experience something like that, something's got to go through your mind. Like, you know what I mean?
It's definitely life-changing, like 100%. But I'm telling you guys right now, Damar Hamlin, today, Rex Ryan, the old Jets head coach, he even said, he was like, hey, listen, Damar Hamlin's the definition of a fighter. And you want to know what, guys? With everything, with him recovering from Monday all the way up to even right now, Saturday, I tell you what, I think, and that's my thing, is I think he does play because of the fact that, he's a fighter and he's willing to fight to play again. And you want to know what? No matter what decision he makes, nobody needs to be against him.
Nobody will be against him. But just going back to it, he collapsed and he had cardiac arrest, right? This isn't just he collapsed. He died on that field. Now, I know we're talking about football and we're talking about Damar Hamlin, but I just want to point out, right? Keontae Johnson, right? Plays for K-State.
Yeah.
Used to play for Florida. Collapsed on court. Okay? But he just collapsed. He was able to improve, what was it, like 2 weeks later? Something like that. And then he was back. He wasn't playing. He was done for the season. But he started practicing again. But the thing is he just collapsed.
No, and there was no explanation.
Damar collapsed and then had a heart attack. He was dead on that field. The AED, the CPR that brought him back to life. That's my thing. How do you come back from that? Mentally and physically. Yeah, he's breathing on his own now, but how do you come back from that?
I tell you what, like Rex Ryan said, he's a fighter, and you want to know what? I see him fighting to play again. I see it. I see it. There's something there's this inner thing in athletes where it doesn't matter if you have a broken leg. It doesn't matter. Like, they're gonna do what they can to be back on that field because they want to play with their brothers. It's a family, but right now, I think the main thing right now is focusing on Damar's health as he continues to recover.
And I totally agree. He's a fighter. I mean, Buddy saw the light, and the first question he asked was, "Who won?
Who won the game?"
Like that is a fighter mentality if I've ever seen it.
And that's where I think that's why I think that he'll fight to play again. I think that he will. But prayers up to Damar Hamlin and his family. I hope he continues to recover. I hope that I hope soon enough that they can get answers on what had happened. And I'm just praying for the best for him right now, because Monday was scary. That was scary to watch happen. But now that we're off of Damar Hamlin and his health, let's move forward to history in the making. History in the making, brother.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. I just want to start out by saying, fuck you to anyone who said that Michigan was just going to absolutely steamroll TCU. To not even give them
A
the
shot.
slightest bit of chance is insane.
And I agree. And Jamari, my buddy,
Yeah.
we've had conversations with Garrison, as you know. You've talked to Jamari. Jamari, my brother, how you doing? He is a big-time Michigan fan. I'm not knocking Michigan at all.
No.
But
Michigan played their hearts out.
They did.
But TCU had the bigger heart.
I have to say that. And Jamari, me and him talked Sunday or Monday after the game. I'd have to pull up, the receipts on it. But now here's my thing, is that with that game, and there's a lot of speculation on, did he catch that touchdown? So now here's my thing. And this is what Jamari told me. Me and Jamari, we both played receiver, and so we understand the receiver aspect of the game. As a receiver, you were taught to catch with your hands, not with your body.
Mm.
You're also to catch on the run, not stop and sit down. So Jamari admits, he's like, no, it would have been a touchdown if he caught it with his hands and walked into the end zone. But he stopped, sat down, and caught it with his body right there. Everybody can make the speculation of, where do you have control? All this. But Jamari said, no, and you guys can go ahead and find the angle. If I can pull it up on a photo and place it like right here between Mason and I'll show you the photo once I can find it. It'll have to be edited in that once we're done here.
Yeah.
But no, he is short of the goal line. And then thing you remember, we watch basketball.
Yeah.
And if there's a foul agrees with it and you miss a free throw, what does everybody say? Ball doesn't lie.
Yeah, ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie. Well, guess what? Ball don't lie when you cough it up on the goal line.
Yeah.
The ball doesn't lie there either. And I do want to point this out about this game. First of all, Max Duggan, 14 of 29, 225 passing yards, threw 2 touchdowns.
But also threw 2 interceptions.
But 2 interceptions are not on him.
But don't discredit it, because J.J. McCarthy also threw for 2 interceptions.
Yes, J.J. McCarthy went 20 for 34, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Now, J.J. McCarthy threw the ball to Bud Clark to start the game.
Yeah.
On their second offensive drive, I should say. On their second offensive drive. He threw that ball directly to Bud Clark, which, by the way, Bud Clark, I love it, baby. Next, later on, second half, he threw his 2 interceptions got returned. And he threw it directly to D. Winters, and D read it through. He read it through and through. JJ those 2 interceptions it was bad timing, and I have to say bad decision making. Duggan's 2 interceptions go off the hands of the receivers. I'm sorry, as receivers, if you're catching it, you're catching it. If it touches your hands, it's on you. And, I mean, what was it? One of them got, volleyball set into the air. I was like, yeah, obviously they're going to come down with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what Max does Monday against Michigan. Another person that I think balled out in the game that's not even on TCU, Donovan Edwards. He started off that game with a big run. And when that first play happened, when Donovan took off up the middle, I was literally watching the game.
What was your first words, huh?
Shit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is gonna
I sat there, being from Fort Worth,
born
and raised, Riff Ram Bazoo,
Zoo.
you know how it is. I'm going to be hopeful, I'm sitting here. I'm gonna, you know what? I was like, TC's gonna come in here. They're gonna whoop ass, and they fucking did. Jamari, don't forget it. But
Woo!
when Donovan Edwards went on that 50-yard rush, I was like, well, fuck, maybe we will get steamrolled.
Hey, I tell you what. When Donovan Edwards took off for what was that first run? Let me pull this up here. What was it, like 50? It was like, I think, because it is his longest run of the game. That was his longest run of the game. Let me find it here. Donovan Edwards, his longest run. So that's a 54-yard run, right?
Mm-hmm.
He took off for that. I wasn't like TCU's gonna go in there and like whoop them. I'm not expecting TCU to be up 21-6 at halftime.
Yeah, that
no
was
shot
wild.
in my mind that I have TCU up 21-6 at halftime. I think it's reasonable. I think it's a close game. And honestly, when TCU was up 4-0 at the end of the first quarter, I was like, I went to the TCU Oklahoma State game. I went to the TCU Iowa State game. I watched TCU play OU with my granddad and Nana. I got to watch them play. I watched them play another game, and we were there watching the game. I think it might have been the Big 12 champion. Yeah, the Big 12 championship. We watched that there.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, man. Us being like myself, my granddad, my Nana, my uncle who graduated from TCU, us being TCU fans, I don't think anybody took TCU serious. I think people finally put their eyes on TCU when we were up massively on OU. I think that's when you see people start to look at TCU. And it's not even about taking them seriously. It's about everybody noticing TCU.
Mm-hmm.
The last time we got this much recognition, let's be realistic here, was 2014 when we should have been in the college football playoffs. But the Big 12, but there was no Big 12 championship game. And now you're looking at, oh well, what are they? Who are they going to send, Baylor or TCU? TCU getting this recognition now, I love it.
Yeah. Just one thing, shout out Jake. If you're still in here, keep commenting. Put your input in. We'll read it out. Shit's wild.
Yeah, guys, if you guys want to comment, go ahead and comment. We will respond to you guys. And that's what we want. I want y'all to interact with us. I know like this is like our second time going live, but we want y'all's interaction too. But that TCU Michigan game, I think for the college football playoffs, what happened last Saturday, phenomenal. Both games.
Both games.
Now, Ohio State.
Woo,
On one hand, let me get into this, and I'm only going to say this, and I'm only saying this about the Ohio State-Georgia game. I'm going to say two things. Number one, the only reason I'm glad that you lost is because now it gives TCU a chance to knock off the defending national champs. It gives TCU that shot. Here's where I think the mistake was made. Georgia called the timeout to ice your kicker. Why did you guys not send that snap through to let your kicker kick that ball? That was an amateur mistake. That was a rookie mistake that you made.
Mm-hmm.
I can't name any NFL game or college game that I've watched this season alone where a timeout's called to ice the kicker and they still send the snap through and let the kicker kick it because he needs to be able to calibrate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that he had, only, how do we say this best? He had only, watched, he's called timeout. They didn't snap the ball. Don't let him send it through. You got to snap it. You got to let him kick it through. You got to let him make an adjustment. And now to say that the game is blown on the kicker, I don't agree with. Because if you go back and watch the game and you play it through slow-mo, I know Ace Ventura made the joke. Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura made the joke.
Yeah.
Laces out. Laces need to be out. The ball also needs to be sitting upright. Just saying. Like, the ball needs to be upright. And that ball is just slanted enough to where it just hooks left.
It just hooks left.
And so And those are things. And but now on to Monday. TCU taking on number 1 ranked defending national champs Georgia. When TCU won, this is all I gotta say before we get into keys to win for TCU. This is all I gotta say. As soon as they said that there was no targeting on that hit, I was very. I was sitting in the living room in shock. And I wasn't in shock about the call. I was in shock about the fact that it's turnover on downs. And TCU is going to the college national championship.
Yeah.
I was in shock. I sat there for 5 minutes just in awe. I couldn't believe what was just said because TCU was going to the national championship.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, baby. I tell you what. Baby, we're gonna win this thing. I am so pumped. Final decision on Kendre Miller not to be made until tomorrow. But, oh man, I got my prediction for the game, TCU 48, Georgia 45. And I'm putting money on my guy Griffin Kell. My guy Griffin, he's been great. Now, the Baylor game isn't as close, or the Big 12 championship isn't as close if he doesn't miss, field goal to start the game. He doesn't miss that, you're looking fine. But also, watching TCU come out play a strong first half against Michigan, that showed where you see them playing 12 straight weeks. They're the number 1 scoring offense in the NCAA. Yeah. So you can understand that if our offense comes out a little, slow, it's because these guys don't get they don't have a bye week in there. So I think now looking at this, I tell you what, I got hope that my boys that landed and are doing media day to day, I'm pulling through, man. I'm pulling through. I got Max having a big game. Quentin obviously having a big game. I think a lot of people that if Kendre plays, I think Kendre and Amari will have big games. Somebody that I was surprised that we didn't see when Kendre finally was ruled out of the game. Surprised we didn't see Amani Bailey. Amani Bailey has been he doesn't get to see the field, but when he does see the field, guys, he shows that he is like the running back room is crazy. It's crazy.
Chef's kiss.
It is. Savion Williams. I have Savion actually having a sleeper game. I think Savion pops off. Another person. We have playmakers all on this offense. Not to mention we have playmakers on defense.
Yeah.
First of all, with offense, let's go ahead and start with the receiver room. You got Quentin Johnston, Savion Williams, Tay Barber, Darius Davis. Let's see. I'm going to include them in the wide receiver room because guess what? They go out and they make plays. Jared Wiley. Big boy Spivey. Spivey's a
I love
dog.
Wiley.
I love Jared Wiley.
He reminds me of like a white NBA young boy if he was 6'5", 200-something pounds and tatted the fuck up.
Dude, my boy Jared Wiley is a monster. But so is Spivey. And you want to know what that I love? I love that, we're willing to, get Max under center and have Spivey in the Oklahoma State game. We did what the Eagles did. We ran that formation of have the tight ends line up behind him and then the running back and push them forward. Now it's just like, all right, Spivey, bulldoze them in there, dude. Get them in there. And that's not saying Max isn't putting in. Max is putting in effort. Every single play, he's doing what he can to make sure this team wins. And I'm not saying it's just Max. It's everybody. But I think the main key to win for TCU, and it's going to come on the defensive side, you got to find a way to contain these tight ends.
Yeah.
That's the main.
Actually, I did note that down. Let me get to it. Yeah, so TCU, they got to counter the tight ends. That offense, Georgia's offense is pretty scary. I mean,
It's scary to look at, but
as
I
a
got
defense, I would take extra time into watching film. I mean, I really would. Grandpa at a quarterback. I mean, Stetson Bennett, my fault.
25-year-old.
Yeah, that's wild. He might be old, but he knows his way around the game.
He does.
He's going to find someone open. Georgia, I've watched plenty of Georgia games. I think a lot of us have.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to find an open receiver. They know how to get open. They know how to blow open your coverage. And I think that's wild. And I mean, good for them. It's Georgia. They're getting the talent. They're getting the recruits. So it is something that is expected.
Yes.
But now they're getting a taste of Big 12 ball.
And I think people sleep on the Big 12. People really do sleep on the Big 12. And I think Coach Dyke said it best, is like week 10 of the season, we're playing the University of Texas in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
That's not easy to go. That's not an easy win game.
No.
But you want to know what is an easy win game? Playing at home against Austin Paye. Like, come on. Like, at least play, like, I need, like, legit competition. And I think that the SEC, it's a money grab conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's why UT and OU left the Big 12. They want to go make that SEC money.
Yeah.
Who's to say you're going to have an SEC winnable record?
Yeah.
So now,
well, and I also think, UT and OU leaving the Big 12, going SEC. I think every damn stadium in the SEC holds like 100,000 or something like that. Something wild.
oh yeah, definitely. But the fact that you're seeing a small program like TCU that only has a little bit over 13,000 undergrads.
Yeah.
Everybody else that made the college football playoffs have more than 30,000 undergraduates.
Yeah.
If not in the ballpark of 30,000 graduates. We're under half of that.
Yeah.
And I just
now, I mean, there is a good portion that are there for athletics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's a lot of programs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their undergrads, are there for a reason, not just an education. 80 grand's a lot for a average Joe like you or I to go to get a piece of paper.
Seriously.
But to me, I don't think that matters.
I don't think
that matters at all. I don't think the difference between having 30,000 undergrads and 13. I don't think that matters, because at the end of the day,
it's the fight.
You're there for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, obviously, to get an education. It's what you need.
Yeah.
You're there for sports. You're there for what you got recruited to go do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, how good a professor is. It doesn't matter what's the student to teacher ratio for these players.
Yeah, no,
they are there to play their sport.
I think it's a matter of not only the work that these guys put in, the men and women put in for their sports, but I think it's the heart that they have on the field. And I think that's something that has been hard to do. And I'm gonna go back to my boy Jamari here. He even said, he's like, listen, he's like, the only issue that I have with TCU is they do not go away. And that has been the story all season. TCU has not gone away from any game. Has not, and I don't think they will. And I think for all the sports books to put TCU under 13, to have Georgia beat them by 13.5.
Yeah.
First of all, I think it's disrespectful, and they're doing that because I get it. Georgia defending national champs, and they've showed in games where they can dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But they've also shown in games where they struggle. And I think TCU is going to find a way to take advantage of them struggling early on to where, you know, I really want TCU to win this game so bad.
I mean, I think the entire United States wants TCU.
Everybody but the states of Georgia.
But besides the state of Georgia, I think everybody wants TCU to win. And I mean, they have the assets, they have the heart, they have the fight, they have everything to do it. Now,
they have the talent.
Are you going to play a lights out game like you did against Michigan? Now, if they do, by all means, I'd put my entire net worth on TCU beating Georgia. I mean, we saw Georgia versus Ohio State. Now, I know there's always the saying, anybody can beat anybody. And I totally agree with that.
And I stand by that statement.
Michigan steamrolled Ohio State. And then Ohio State turns around, gets into the college football playoffs.
And they give
Georgia
the fight
a
of their life.
run for their money. When it comes down to a field goal, it's either Ohio State hits it and they win, and this could be a different story, or they miss it.
Which is what happened.
And Georgia's
and Georgia escapes.
And Georgia was supposed to steamroll Ohio State, just like how Michigan was supposed to steamroll TCU. That's why I'm saying to sit here and call TCU an underdog,
I think it's wrong.
Especially after the first week of the playoffs.
I think it's wrong.
Terrible.
But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. My prediction for the game, I'm gonna hold high. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think there's going to be a blowout on either end, and that's what I said about Michigan, and I'm going to hold through with that. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm taking my guy Griffin Kell to give us a W, 48-45.
All right. I think, this is wild. It's a very, very hot take.
Oh, bro. Please do not. Please don't.
34-17, TCU wins.
Okay.
I think TCU is going to ride off of the momentum that they have from the Michigan game, and they are going to hold Georgia to 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Thank you and good night.
All right, guys. It was a good episode. Mason, I loved having you on, man.
Can't wait to be back.
Yeah, no problem. Garrison, we got to get another episode with you in here, my boy. But obviously, we're going to try to do a lot more live episodes. I like doing live episodes because then I'm able to see you guys comment and say things and want to be able Jake, I saw that you commented. You're right. It was a routine play, and it was just a horrible thing to have. Completely agree. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be bringing a lot more content. Also, follow me at least on Twitter at TFP Harrison. I know the logo on here is the cowboy blue and gray, but on Twitter, I just changed it, I believe, yesterday or the day before to that TCU purple, baby.
Oh, bro.
Dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Yep, that's all I got. So I will see you guys next time. Riff Ram Bazoo.